Where are you from?
Hey, say hey, wave in the camera.
Visiting or?
What's your name?
No, we moved out.
Focus on these children. They are only two among hundreds of kids reported missing by their parents between 1993 and 2001. This footage reveals where the children were found, 400-acre compound, secluded in a rural part of Georgia, normally off limits to outsiders. The footage shows massive pyramids, towering sphinxes, and bizarre monuments. Inside, everyone seems cheerful, waving at the camera. But behind these smiles, a dark secret hides. When local sheriffs investigated the missing children, armed men blocked the gate. While the truth of what occurred inside remained hidden for decades, Georgia doctors noticed a troubling pattern. Multiple hospitals admitted dozens of children from the compound, some as young as 11 who were pregnant. The FBI became involved, planning a raid to rescue the hundreds of children behind the gates. Yet, fears of a repeat of Waco, Texas lingered. A cult raid where dozens of children were killed, sparking national panic. The FBI didn't know what they were facing until a 7-year-old girl escaped, the only one able to reveal the truth. It's 1977. New York City, 2-year-old Niki lives with her mother in a small Queens apartment. In a neighborhood plagued by crime and violence. There were gangs everywhere, drugs on every corner, crime and murder rampant, especially on Bushwick Avenue. Every day as Niki's mother leaves for work, she faces the harsh realities of New York streets. She worries about little Niki. This isn't the world she wants for her, but with limited money. The single mother has few options. Everything changes when a man in a long white robe approaches her, hands her a book, and points to the address on the cover. That night, curiosity takes over, and she reads the book from cover to cover, feeling her prayers for a better life answered. She decides to visit the man the next day. Walking down the street, she is cautious as always, but as she nears 717 Bushwick Avenue, she senses a shift in the air. A faint choir reaches her ears. Inside, children laugh and play freely, dressed in colorful garments. She encounters an entire community, one that preaches resilience while lifting each other up. After this first visit, a new routine begins. She attends gatherings regularly, finally finding a place that feels like home. Slowly, New York's streets seem less threatening with the support of this community. As the years pass, Niki's mother begins to change, seeing hope for herself and her children. A future full of possibilities. Niki, now 7, becomes aware of her mother's faith, and for the first time since discovering the group, she joins her for a sermon. Her mother watches her enter, carefree and surrounded by peace, and tears fill her eyes. At the heart of this community is one man, charismatic preacher, Dr. Dwight Malachi York. He could walk into any room and connect with everyone. He had a way of uniting people. It was his personality. The community, known as the Nuwaubian Nation, originated in 1960s New York City. At the time, the city was dangerous, especially for African Americans, facing discrimination and daily violence after segregation. Racial tensions ran high, and crime, muggings, drugs, and violence was part of everyday life. For many, the Nuwaubian Nation offered more than spirituality. It was a sanctuary for Black residents across New York and other East Coast cities. For people of African descent, our history and culture were torn apart by slavery. Who are we? Malachi York claimed. Oh, I have an answer to that, York asked. Why can't we have communities deliberately planned for people of African descent? York, a skilled speaker, spent decades building this community, often speaking for Black Americans and associating with the Black Panther movement. He was also a musician, producing jazz, funk, and disco records. An artist, activist, and leader, he strengthened the message of self-empowerment through the 1980s. In 1986, Niki's family made a leap of faith. At 11, Niki moved to the Bushwick compound with her 2 younger siblings, promised shelter, protection, and a brighter future. It was leaving the harsh streets for a community fully secured by their own. New life brought new rules, customs, and an entirely new way of living. Our wardrobe changed. How we ate changed. We studied the Quran and learned Arabic from teachers.
My wardrobe changed. How we ate changed. We would study the Quran. We learned Arabic from Arabic teachers.
The spiritual leader showed particular care for Niki and her siblings, ensuring they were well fed, dressed, and entertained. He closely monitored their well-being, greeted them warmly, and involved them in community activities. For Niki, the attention felt special. She found a father figure, protective and powerful. Soon after, my mom became one of his wives. That made me one of his children, and I looked up to him as my dad.
A little after I joined the community, my mom became one of his wives. That meant I was one of his children, and I looked up to him. That's my dad.
Dr. Dwight Malachi York was the center of the Nuwaubian Nation, revered as leader and savior, providing safety and hope. The Bushwick community grew crowded. York decided a new chapter was needed. Dwight York planned a new home for his congregation, over 900 miles from New York, in rural Putnam County, Georgia. Driving cross-country, we saw rural areas unfamiliar to us. Arriving at the property, it was open land. Amazing. The land spanned over 400 acres, isolated, ideal for forming a new nation, beyond US laws. Before building, York overhauled Nuwaubian doctrine, borrowing from global religions, cultures, and mythologies to create a new identity.
A physical state with our own passports and our own tax system. I'm talking about our own nation, where no one tells us what to do but us.
He transformed his appearance. One moment a cowboy, the next claiming to be extraterrestrial Yanun, even calling himself Chief Black Thunderbird Eagle. Feathered headdress included, shifting personas. He finally landed on one defining identity. York gathered followers, proclaiming Nuwaubians descendants of ancient Egyptians from another planet. Followers embraced this identity and began construction. A massive sphinx head rose, murals painted, pyramids built, turning farmland into a theatrical spectacle. Named Tama-Re, Egypt of the West, entering Putnam County on Georgia Highway 142, pyramids appeared in the middle of pasture land.
We're driving cross country. You see the rural areas that we weren't accustomed to seeing. We pulled onto the property and it was just open land. It was amazing.
The property was out in Putnam County in a very rural area, a little over 400 acres. Isolation was very much a factor. They were coming to Georgia. They were going to form their own nation, not subject to the laws of the United States.
Have you seen their property out there?
Oh, I've seen it.
What do you think?
I think it's kind of strange.
The grounds stayed tidy, quiet, and seemingly harmless, but behind these walls, a darker reality existed. 2 years after joining, Niki felt at home. Until one day, one of York's wives called her urgently to a private room. She revealed an unsettling truth.
One of the wives, she had a conversation with me and said, York would be the person that would teach me about sex, and she would help me and talk to me because, you know, these are things that you want to know as a growing woman. One of the things that he told us is the person who takes your virginity, that's the person that you're always going to be connected to and loyal to.
Shocked, Niki listened, unsure how to respond. Perhaps this was normal, part of York's teachings. At 45, York entered, locking the door, leaving Niki alone with him. Fear washed over her. Trust shattered. He said, "It's not a big deal."
And he was just like, it's not a big deal. Like, why are you making this a big deal? It wasn't something that I wanted to do, and he just kind of held me down and just did it. I was miserable. I used to write him many letters saying that I hated my life. And, I wish I wasn't born, but there's nothing I could do about it. This is someone who, for all of my life, was our leader, our master teacher. So when you have that ingrained in you, you don't want to leave.
Writing letters about hating life, wishing she wasn't born. Yet he had been their leader, their teacher, leaving her conflicted about leaving. The world she knew changed. There was no turning back. Trapped by rules and constant surveillance, Niki stayed silent, trusting the parent figure as God and savior. She learned compliance was expected. Niki harbored a secret. Everyone else acted normal, praising York, unaware of the darkness beneath. As she grew, patterns became clear. York's power expanded, unseen. She realized escape was necessary, not just for herself, but for other girls. A place meant to be holy and happy was filled with misery, worsening over time. Fear held her back, but a part of her wanted to face the unknown. Her mother disagreed, seeing the community as their savior. When Niki confessed her plan, her mother sided with York, and a campaign of intimidation began. With no family support, Niki sought a former cult member in Atlanta, finding a safe place to regroup. York, enraged, expelled her.
Being in a space that's supposed to be holy and pure and protected and happy, but we're miserable, times keep getting worse and worse. And I was scared to leave because I'm not going to be protected. I don't know anything on the outside. But some parts of me was like, I'm willing to go to the unknown.
Her mission was clear: expose York's cult, save the trapped children. Unbeknownst to her, the FBI had been building a case for years, receiving calls from parents with missing children.
We would get calls from a mother or a father. My daughter's down there in a cult. I can't get in touch with her. I don't know what's happened. Can you try to find out for me? But I would go there. There was always an armed guard at the gate. They wouldn't let you on the property. At that time, I didn't know what was going on.
Doctors uncovered pregnant girls as young as 11, all from the Nuwaubian compound. Agents feared violence confronting York directly. Reports indicated he had weapons. He grew aggressive, appointing armed guards, raising local suspicion. Seeing armed men marching one morning, we feared instant conflict. The FBI tracked him discreetly, waiting for the right moment. Hours passed silently. Gates of Tama-Re opened. A black car left. Agents followed. Radio confirmed the vehicle. SWAT prepared. Agents held their breath. The car door opened. Dwight York exited. The team moved quickly, surrounded him, and made the arrest. Sheriff Sills led a convoy into Tama-Re, careful not to endanger children. Deputies created a perimeter. The raid involved hundreds of officers. Years of fear, secrecy, and abuse ended quietly, successfully, and without violence. York was in custody. Nuwaubian compound disbanded their legal case with the FBI. For nearly 2 years, they gathered witnesses, expert testimony, and countless pieces of evidence. York absolutely did not want to go to trial because all his secrets would be exposed. In January 2004, Dwight York finally faced court. He stood accused of multiple counts: child abuse, rape, racketeering, conspiracy, and tax fraud. Survivors, including Niki, watched. Their former leader, now just an ordinary man, his power stripped away.
I hadn't seen him in 3 years. And actually it was kind of liberating because I felt like he can't tell me anything. He can't make me do anything. That was the first time of me getting my power back.
Niki, nervous yet resolute, walked to the witness stand to testify.
One witness would lead to the next in terms of identifying victims. And in the end, we identified and interviewed at least 40 victims.
After 3 weeks of testimony, on January 23, 2004, Dwight York was convicted on 11 of 13 counts. He pled guilty to 74 federal charges. child molestation, interstate transportation of minors for criminal sexual activity, conspiracy, and racketeering. York is serving a 135-year federal prison sentence on lockdown 23 hours a day and has exhausted all appeals. Justice was served for the victims. That sentence assures survivors they can now walk proudly, pursue their dreams, and reclaim their lives. After York's conviction, Niki moved to South Florida, pursuing her GED and her passion for art, dedicated to serving and empowering her community. In 2015, she founded What's Your Elephant, using the arts to challenge social norms and give voice to the marginalized. For 2 decades, Niki has positively impacted countless lives. York deceived us, exploited our labor, bodies, and minds. Now he lives behind bars, forced to endure the same restrictions he imposed on others. He no longer has the final word. Niki's courage and determination have not gone unnoticed. In 2004, after testifying against York, she received the Louis E. Peters Memorial Service Award, the highest civilian humanitarian honor in the US. Through turning her pain into purpose, she continues to uplift underserved communities, helping them speak their truth. Today, Niki stands as a true leader, a testament that even in the darkest chapters, healing and purpose can prevail.